Hello students, I'm Rizal, one of your student teachers in this subject. Today, I'll be going to discuss to you about Module 3 Lesson 1, The Life of Jose Rizal. In this lesson, you will be going to determine the important events during Rizal's childhood that influenced the formation of his character. You will also learn about Rizal's experiences abroad that contributed to his nationalist sensibilities and appraise the effects of Rizal's execution to Spanish colonial rule and the Philippine Revolution. Let's start with the birth, ancestry, and childhood of Jose Rizal. Jose Rizal was born on June 19, 1861 in Calamba, Laguna. In Rizal's time, it was a prosperous town. Scenic beauty shaped his noble and heroic spirit. The surroundings had enhanced his perceptions, and it was where Rizal learned the early values of love, affection, and loyalty, which blossomed forth in his mature years and won the esteem and admiration of his people. Rizal was of mixed origin. On his father's side, he descended from an industrious and intelligent Chinese merchant named Domingo Lamco, who married Inés de la Rosa, a Chinese mestiza. Then, they had a son named Francisco, who was the great-grandfather of Jose Rizal, who became a municipal captain of Binian in 1783. Then their family adopted a surname Mercado, enabled to prevent the younger generation from the prejudices that followed with a Chinese name. Francisco Mercado that married to Bernarda Monica, who was a Chinese mestiza, and they were blessed with two children named Juan and Clemente. Juan married to Cirela Alejandra, who was also a Chinese mestiza, and they were blessed with 14 children, and one of those was Francisco Mercado, the father of Rizal. And now, let's move on to Rizal's immediate family. Francisco Mercado married Rizal's mother, Teodora Alonso Rialonda, who came from a prosperous clan who have a number of lawyers, priests, engineers, and government officials. Rizal's maternal ancestry was of Chinese and Japanese ancestry. Rizal's both parents greatly influenced his character. From his father, he inherited a proud sense of dignity and self-respect, seriousness and self-possession, and from his mother, he inherited the temperament of poet, the dreamer, and bravery for sacrifice. This couple were blessed with 11 children, who were Saturnina, Pasiano, who was the only brother of Jose, Narcisa, Olympia, Lucia, Maria, Jose, Concepcion, who died at 3, Josefa, Trinidad, and Soledad. In Rizal's education, his first teacher was his mother, Teodora Alonso. He learned alphabet at the age of 3, and he had an avid interest in reading as well as in literatures since his family had extensive library. Besides, he had also skills in sculpture, sketching, as well as in painting, and in the age of 8, he already wrote his first poem, Sa Aking Mga Kabata. In a very young age, his observations had shaped his social and political ideas. On June 10, 1872, he took a competitive entrance examination to secondary school, which was administered by San Juan de Letran College, indicating its seniority to Ateneo, which he discovered the wisdom of books and its influences on his search for knowledge, by pursuing history, philosophy, science, and imaginative world of poetry. Ateneo taught him that mind would achieve its purpose as long as one sought truth in a spirit of love and understanding of one's fellow men. His formal lesson at the Ateneo refined his artistic sensibility, resulting in the development of his skills in writing as well as in sculpture. After graduating from Ateneo, he enrolled in philosophy and letters at the University of Santo Tomas. He then finally decided to take up medicine because he wanted to treat the failing eyesight of his mother. However, the university has prejudicial limitations, so his older brother Paciano advised him to go to Europe and able to have a broader perspective and to seek outlets for his talents. With that, Paciano supported him morally and financially and also gave him an important mission in how to help the Filipino cause. Rizal's education in Europe. On May 3, 1882, Rizal left for Europe aboard the Salvadora and arrived at Barcelona by the middle of June. After a few months, he moved to Madrid because medical education was cheaper there. He then enrolled at the Central University of Madrid for the licentiate in medicine. Unable to acquire wisdom and culture, he enrolled in philosophy and letters as well as painting and sculpture lesson, unable to enhance his artistic talents at the Academia de Bellas Artes de San Fernando. Moreover, he also took up French and German lessons at the Ateneo de Madrid. Despite his limited time for his studies, he acquired proficiency in various fields of learning in 2 years. He then completed the licentiate in medicine with satisfactory grades. By next year, he proceeded to a doctorate in medicine, and in 1885, he received his licentiate in philosophy and letters, which entitled him to a university professorship. He then went to Paris for advanced studies in ophthalmology. Together with other foreigners, he worked as an assistant in the clinic of Dr. Louis D. Wecker and learned the medical techniques of an eye operation in 4 months. His desire to learn more about eye ailments prompted him to go to Germany. The cost living was cheaper. He then practiced in a hospital of Heidelberg under the German doctor Otto Becker. Thus, his observations in Europe opened his mind to the significant needs of his country and the ways that meet these needs. Jose Rizal's writings and reforms. While in Europe, Jose Rizal became part of the propaganda movement connecting with other Filipinos who wanted reform. He also wrote his first novel, Noli Me Tangere or Touch Me Not. It is a work that detailed the dark aspects of Spain's colonial rule in the Philippines, with particular focus on the role of Catholic friars. The book was banned in the Philippines, and because of this novel, he returned to the Philippines in 1887 and was targeted by the police. Upon returning Europe, he continued to write, releasing his follow-up novel entitled Il Filibusterismo. He also published articles in La Solidaridad, which is aligned with the propaganda movement. Rizal's exile in the Philippines. In 1892, he returned to the Philippines feeling he needed to be in the country to effect change. Although the Reform Society founded, who was the Liga Filipino or the Philippine League, supported nonviolent action, Rizal was still exiled to Dapitan on the island of Mindanao. During the 4 years of his exile, he practiced medicine and took the students. Next is execution and legacy. In August 1896, the Katipunan, a nationalist Filipino society founded by Andres Bonifacio, revolted. Although Rizal has no ties to the group and disapproved of its violent methods, He was arrested shortly thereafter. After a short trial, Rizal was convicted of sedition and sentenced to death by firing squad. Rizal's public execution was carried out in Manila on December 30, 1896. His execution created more opposition to the Spanish rule. Spain's control of the Philippines ended in 1898. Rizal remains a nationalist icon in the Philippines for helping the country take its first step towards independence. This is the end of Lesson 1, The Life of Jose Rizal. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you learned something from this video. And keep safe, everyone!